What is up, everybody? It is Wick here. I am sourcing inside of a Goodwill. I am looking for treasure to flip on eBay, and today I find some treasure. I also go to a rummage sale you'll be seeing here soon where I found some good deals for sure. And checking out the toys at this Goodwill, we got a My Little Pony up here. I don't think that one is worth anything. It's a newer one. I could have Google Lensed it real quick just to check. Sometimes you'd be surprised with that stuff, but I don't think so based on what I've seen out there before and checked. But we got some bag of, I don't know what these were exactly, but I see this Ninja Turtles sealed game right next to it. This is a newer Ninja Turtles game, but still selling pretty good on Amazon new at $45, I think. It was only $3.99, so I mean, you can make money selling that on eBay as well, of course. But lots of great board games out there to source, make some money, especially used. If you want to count the pieces, sometimes, the board games just aren't worth it because of the amount of time it takes to count the pieces. Here's a vintage electric baseball game. I looked that up. You know what? Just not selling, not worth any money. So I'm leaving that on the shelf for somebody who wants it, wants to use it. Checking out the Halloween aisle at this Goodwill. You know what? The Halloween aisle is pathetic in this Goodwill. Just not a lot of options. Some random boots down here. I've said it before. They pull shoes and price them higher for Halloween, and you put the orange tag on so you can't return them. These things feel like paper. They're cheap. They shouldn't even be the base $5 shoe price, in my opinion. But it's Goodwill. They can price whatever they want. They're allowed to do that. It's just people don't have to buy it either. But we're checking out some craft stuff, and I don't see much. But inside of this rummage sale, I start putting some good stuff in my bag. I was in line. I was like third or fourth, and a guy came out and started putting out bikes and stuff out front. And he said, "Oh, just go on in." So got in here. I wasn't prepared. Had to pull out my camera, grab what I could. There wasn't many people here anyway, and I didn't end up seeing any resellers that I recognized anyway at this rummage sale, so kind of crazy when that happens. Every now and then it happens, but usually, you're stuck with a lot of competition. So I'm just going through here. I'm trying to find everything I can real quick, before people start flooding in and grabbing it, right? So toys. And I've scored at this rummage sale before. I believe it usually happens every year. And I see some of those plush dogs over there. I'm not sure what those were, but I wanted to get over here to see if there's any video games in the media section. And I start looking at these board games and puzzles. And at first glance, it doesn't look very impressive. But I start noticing some good stuff. I see back here a Angry Birds Knock on Wood game. Of course, I've talked about these many times in the channel. So I grab that, and then I start seeing some board games that are, they're unique. You don't see them every day. Like this, what is it, Neoville, and I don't know what else I got. You just have to check the haul. I'll show them all. But yeah, I ended up just stacking these board games. And once my eyes, started focusing and being like, oh, there's good stuff here, unique stuff, I just start picking up one, seeing another one I want. And the great thing was all these games were a dollar. So I ended up grabbing all those. And yeah, I'm still checking the rummage sale, trying to find anything I may have missed. I got my bag sitting up there. And unfortunately, today, I was in a bit of a hurry because I was going out of town that day. So I needed to get some things done. And I just wanted to stay in here a bit longer because I would like to have checked some of these dishes and stuff. Like down there on the floor, like it even got me when I was editing this. I'm like, that wasn't magic mushroom stuff down there. There's canisters. I remember specifically checking them at this sale when I was here. And over here, there was a lot of hats when I first walked in. And I went through them real quick just to see if there's any, vintage sports hats that could be worth a lot of money. So I'm back over here checking to see if there's anything I may have missed. I grabbed a few. Unfortunately, again, the bad hat luck. Just every time I find these big tables of hats at these sales, big totes of hats. I just haven't been finding anything truly good. I've been unchallenged. Like a lot of times at these rummage sales, there's all kinds of hat sellers, clothing sellers. That looked like a Ralph Lauren hat, US Polo. I actually sold one of those like last week, that exact same hat, I think, for like $14, $15. So I guess I could have picked that up. I don't even know if I noticed it. But I grab a bunch of kind of just cheap basic hats sometimes and just store them. Maybe do a big hat lot. Sometimes I'm not 100% sure what they're worth, so I grab them. Usually I know they're not worth a lot, but when they're a quarter, stuff like that, yeah, I'll pick them up. Why not? Clothing, nothing good there either, but got some great stuff in that rummage sale. And now, I have to check Goodwill. So stop in this Goodwill, and if you are enjoying this video, hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Helps the video out. But I see this glove, and I'm like, that's a pretty good glove. And I'm like, yeah, $10. And then I look up the model, and it's just not really selling. It's not worth a whole lot. So at $10, I just put it back. I'll buy it kind of a basic, slow-selling glove like that if I can get it for like maybe $5 or less. But that one I just passed on. There's a Tripoli game, vintage. Those flip pretty good on Amazon if they're in good condition. I think they wanted like $15 for that one, so left that on the shelf. I don't even know if all the pieces were there. I'm not paying that much, for a game like that. So what else do we got here? High prices, no doubt, crock pots. And if you see anything, you can let me know, but just keep in mind that a lot of stuff that may be worth selling is just priced too high. So I don't buy it. I don't even fool with. Some microwave. Does anyone flip microwaves? I see them every now and then in certain Goodwills, and they're priced pretty good. It just seems like a good deal. I recently bought one for myself in Goodwill even. I think I only paid like $15 for it, but I bet there's a market to flip them. I don't know. I'm sure some of the vintage ones, the look people are after, just not something I've ever dived in. Luckily in this Goodwill, the Halloween aisle is looking a bit better. That doesn't mean there's going to be anything to buy. I'm not seeing a whole lot of what I'm looking for, mostly older vintage stuff, or maybe blow molds or some of that Department 56 Halloween stuff, which I haven't seen any of that this year. We're about done with the Halloween season. Usually you see some at Goodwill. I'm wondering if they're sending it to Shop Goodwill. Who knows? But there's a Quidditch broom up there from Harry Potter. Not worth anything. But I did see these Brooks shoes when I went past the shoes. Some clean ones. Not priced up. This Goodwill prices shoes up really high. So just surprising to see a pair of Brooks like that haven't been priced up. I think they just run out of room where they put the expensive shoes, and they probably just give up. So back in this Goodwill, since it's the next day, I've already picked up that baseball bat and some shoes, some New Balance shoes. But I see this vintage Super Soaker, and it's only $2.99, and I'm like, oh, I know that's a good one. So pick that up. It's rare to find Super Soakers vintage like that, at least for me. I know I found a couple over the years, but pretty good shoes in the cart. Yeah, I think they just stocked some shoes or something, because got some Nike, some good New Balance shoes. Back over here to check the toys. This wrestling ring, I regret not buying it. Like I said, I was in a hurry. It's no excuse. I'm buying the other stuff, right? It was only $2.99. I'm like, I don't think this is one of the vintage ones or one of the ones that have that much value. But I could have allotted it with a bunch of figures that I'm going to be selling here soon. I have a decent amount of just random wrestling figures. I'm actually going to have to look that up after I'm done recording this voiceover. I'll put on the screen if it's worth anything. But yeah, I may have missed that. Here's some baseball bats, some more, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good one. This is one of the Easton ceramic bats. I look it up, and yeah, it's worth selling for sure, $2.99. But I did very well today. Let me show you everything I got. Check it out. I got an amazing haul here. Went to a rummage sale and hit some Goodwills. We're going to go through it. I'm going to show you what I expect to make on this stuff. I got these arcade sticks back here at the rummage sale for $5. Saw them in a box. I immediately threw them into my IKEA bag because some of these are worth a ton of money. When I got them home and started researching them, I can't find a whole lot of information, but I did find where these sold on Amazon new together for $150. They seem to be those like plug and play type things where they have about like 200,000 games built into them or something like that. I really don't know what I can sell them for. Maybe like $50, $60 on eBay. There's definitely gonna be some profit there, only paying $5 though. Check this out, got a vintage Super Soaker CPS 1200. Paid $3 for this at Goodwill. Looks like it's selling between $30 and $50 depending on condition. We got the arm strap here, which is going to help the value. So for $3, that's going to be some great profit indeed. Got some good shoe buys. Here's a couple pair of New Balance shoes. I just bought these because they were in really good condition and only $5. These are the all-terrains. I actually just shipped a pair last week of all-terrains that I sold. These typically sell between $30 and $40. Here's another pair that sells between $30 and $40 as well in this condition. Usually New Balance shoes, they have to be in good condition where I don't have to really do any work for me to sell them, at least the basic ones like this. Also got some of these Jordans, which are in pretty good condition. They will need a little bit of a wipe down just because they're white. But these are also selling between $30 and $40 pre-owned, and they were $5 as well. And then over here, we got a couple more pairs we'll show real quick. Some nice Brooks. Usually when you find these white ones, they're just too dirty to even mess with, at least in my experience. I will have to magic eraser the bottom edges where they have some dirt, but otherwise they're in really good condition. And these should sell for like $35-40, which seems to be the theme for the shoes today, all between like $30 to $40 profit. I got these Echo sandals. Now I sold some women's sandals similar to this fairly recently, but they were like new without tags. I think I sold them for like $60. So these are in great condition, so I don't see why I can't sell these between $30 and $40 based on what I was seeing on eBay. So adding up all the shoe profits, I love it. So actually on this chair, if I can move these sandals and shoes, kind of show you. At the rummage sale for $7.50, I bought this. It looks like a New Wave oven, but this is just some off-brand kitchen living. But it's brand new, which is why I bought it. It doesn't look great comp-wise. Should sell at some point. Certainly would not have bought this if it wasn't brand new. Got this at the rummage sale. This is a box of Disney cars and planes and stuff like that. This is going to be some good profit. I haven't fully went through it all, but there's a lot of die-cast stuff. I believe this piece will sell for $20. I know this one, I've sold it before. I think it sells for like $35-40. It's die-cast. Looked up that one. I think it's like $10-15. And then there's just all kinds of other die cast and a lot of plastic ones in there too, but there's a good amount in there. If I was to estimate, I would say at least $100 profit. Once I part out the few good ones that are worth parting out, and then I'll just lot everything else together. Maybe make 2 or 3 different types of lots. I think I got like $5 into that whole box. Picked up some decent baseball bats. $2.99 is what I paid for them. They had some other good ones, but they were just in too bad a shape. I left them. These have some wear, but you know what? Magic Eraser will clean up all the gunk and dirt on them, make them look a lot better. As long as they're not cracked, they're good to sell. I believe the best one was this Easton ceramic bat, which was selling for, I think, $50 when I looked it up. The other two were selling between $25 and $30, if I remember right. They weren't as good, but they will sell. This is something I just grabbed for $1. I knew it was going to be worth picking up. Vintage tarot cards, but it is surprisingly better than I thought. This set, it's in good condition. Hopefully all the cards are there. It looks like they would be because they're just almost unused. I got the paperwork and everything. Some of these in good condition complete, we're selling for around $150. So I'm probably going to price mine at least that high to start, and should be able to sell them for that. Worst case scenario, I might sell them for like $120, $100, I paid $1, so it's great. Been a while since I scored one of these Sony micro cassette recorders. This is a pretty good one. Batteries in it.
My brother went out today.
So it works. Who knows what's on that tape? I've heard some weird things buying these kind of things and having the tapes or the camcorders, the videotapes, some of the stuff I've seen. Anyway, on eBay, $50-60 for this. Amazon is like $120 right now. They're selling for pre-owned. I used to sell these a lot on Amazon, so I'll probably give it a shot on there. So I got like $1 into it. So Going to be some good profit. So here's one of my famous bolos, I guess. This is one of the items I showed years ago on the channel. This is phase 10 dice. Not to be confused with just phase 10, because I've gotten lots of messages where people have found this and sold it and made good profit. I've also got messages where people are like, why'd you say phase 10 was worth money? I bought it, it's not worth anything. And they bought the phase 10 card game. But I've never found one that's the can like this. You see, I got it at Goodwill for 99 cents. It sells just as good as the one that's not the can package in the original tin or the box. Currently, it was like $88 pre-owned on Amazon, which is where I usually sell mine. But you can sell these on eBay, no problem, for 40 bucks. You usually get them for like $1 or next to nothing. Very popular, a game that always sells quick. So for $1, you know, I'm gonna sell mine probably for around 80 bucks on Amazon. Picked these up at the rummage sale. Another rummage sale where I get in there and I see a bunch of hats and I'm like, oh, here we go. Surprisingly, at this rummage sale, there wasn't a whole lot of competition, just some casual shoppers. I didn't recognize any resellers, which blew my mind. But nonetheless, I rushed through the hats real quick. I wanted to go through them and then get to the other stuff. You know, I grabbed a few interesting looking ones here. Nothing high end, like just some racing hats that are not worth a whole lot. A Super Bowl hat. They're 50 cents a piece. I don't know how much. I didn't even look them up. I just don't think there's a lot of value. Like they might sell for like $10 to $12 or something like that, which is pretty good profit when you're paying so little for hats. But for now, I'm probably just going to throw these with all the other kind of basic hats that I've gotten over the years. I have a few totes full of them. You know, one day I'm just going to sell them as a big lot, or, you know, take them to a flea market or something and sell them that way. I'm not sure. So check this out. This is a nice pickup. I did pay $20 for this, but it is a Magnolite Dutch oven. It does not have the insert that goes in there, but it is in pretty good condition. It's one of the larger ones, which is good. You see comps for these anywhere between $120 and $200. Really over $200 if they're in good condition and they have the insert. I think I'm pricing mine like $140, $150 plus shipping is what I'm going to be doing. Going to be some great profit in it nonetheless. Talked about this stuff on the channel many times before. So I saw this Scream like animated plaque. It's one of these things you hang on your wall, kind of like the Billy the Bass fish. And in my head, when I saw this, I thought, oh, I just recently found out that these things are worth like $200-300. In my brain, I could even see like the sold comps where I said, oh, that's something I got to keep an eye out for because, you know, Scream mask, I look for the vintage ones. They can be worth a lot of money. I don't know what my brain was thinking, honestly, because I'm not seeing that at all with these. I saw some sell for around $30, which isn't bad because, I don't know, I got $1 or $2 into it. But kind of disappointed because in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's going to be like $200. I don't know how that kind of stuff gets in my mind sometimes, but still pretty cool to get that. Right next to it, I got this brand new grill cover at the rummage sale as well. Should to sell that for at least $50. I paid either $2 or $4 for that. I don't remember. It wasn't priced. She just kind of threw a price out when I went to pay for it. Still, it's going to be some great profit. Now it's time to get into some of these board games. Let's start with what I got at Goodwill. You already saw the phase 10. These three came from Goodwill. Turtles game, which was $3.99. It's sealed. It's actually selling pretty good. It's like $45 on Amazon. A sealed Criminal Minds game, which I don't remember exactly. I think I was making like $10-15 profit on it. New sealed, easy to deal with. You got this new sealed puzzle, bunch of different candies for $2.99. You know what? It had an extremely good rank and it was selling for $25 on Amazon. So it was worth picking up, worth my time. But at the rummage sale, I go over to where the games are. I start seeing some really good board games. As in, they're not the typical board games you see. They're more higher end strategy games. And I just started grabbing them and stacking them and putting them by where you pay because they wouldn't all fit in the IKEA bag. You can see this one up here. I got Fireball Island, which I talked about Fireball Island in one of my board game Bolo videos. I was referring to the original one. This is a remake. The original one, the box is very big. It's like 3 times the size of that box. It's worth a lot more too, but the remake is still selling for like $80 new. So pre-owned in good condition, you're still selling it for $45. All the board games were $1 a piece. So I kind of cleaned up there, and you can just kind of see what I have there. If I scroll down, I'm not going to go through each individual game and talk about it. Some of these games are selling for like $20, $25. Some of them $40, $50. This museum game had me really excited when I scanned the UPC. It was showing $500, but that was with a bunch of expansions, and it had it sold. Still, if you look up just the base game, it was selling for around $70 to $80. You can also see over here in this stack, I got Angry Birds, which you see all this stuff down here. I'm actually working on an Amazon shipment. I got all this prepped and ready to go, and I got an Angry Birds right there that I'm shipping in. I'm not sure what they're selling for right now, but I've sold them all the way up to like $75 pre-owned on Amazon. I've already opened this one and looked in. It's complete. I've counted these so many times, it's easy to tell. Well, I still got to count the cards, but I do have extra cards if it's not complete for some reason. So just always nice to find that. And I got some more sealed stuff here, like these Always Sunny playing cards. Surprisingly, I saw a comp. They sold on eBay for $40, brand new sealed. So paid $1 for those. Here's some like car engine game, which is interesting. It was selling pretty good. Seems like $30. Sealed mining colony, which wasn't selling great, unfortunately, since it's sealed. I think around $25. And then just a couple more games here, which were like $20 to maybe $30 games. I just don't remember everything. I'll go through it all, add it up, and have it on the screen though. While these games are more rare and unique and usually worth more, they're still not as rare and unique as some of them come, right? Like, it's one of those things where you start to get greedy, where I'm thinking, man, if these were just better games, you know, this could be like $1,000 haul. Still, I'm not complaining because I paid $1 for them, and it's going to be great profit. Actually, I want to get through this real quick and check some of these games for Amazon, because some of them sell for more on Amazon. Get them in this current shipment. Some of these sealed ones for sure. Things I can sell. Luckily, I don't think there's anything I really want to keep. A lot of board games I find that are worth a lot or good, I want to keep. Put my board game collection. Not too interested in any of these. I'll check them just to see if they're really popular. People like playing them. Possibly Fireball Island. I want the original Fireball Island because that's the one I had when I was a kid in the 80s. That's going to do it for the video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, I'm going to ask you to hit that like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're feeling really generous, share the video. Just helps me grow my channel, and I really do appreciate you watching. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, flipping_junk. And this has been Wick. Until next time.